Dive into summer with Vizcaya swimwear. Stylish, comfortable, unforgettable. Make a splash with Vizcaya swimwear. Discover your beauty with Lady Code Cosmetics. Bold colors, flawless finishes. Unleash your confidence with Lady Code. Hello and welcome back to Misrepresented. I'm your host, Lisa Opie, and before I introduce today's guest, I have to thank Pink Apple Dresses for dressing us today, and we were so lucky that Joey Rolon was in the studio. He styled us perfectly in these matching gold outfits, and of course, Beauty by Lady Code for our hair and makeup, and the Code Creatives for our production. So I'm super excited to introduce Amanda Mawer. Did I say that right?
You did perfectly. Thank you.
Oh my gosh.
I'm so excited to be here.
I'm so excited to have you. We had a super fun day of shooting. It was
so much was happening.
Yeah.
I had like a massive transformation.
Did we meet your expectations?
Oh, it blew me out of the water.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, of course.
Oh my gosh. I feel like you walked in. Sorry, just a little context for our listeners. We had a photo shoot first and I was like, wait, you're Mrs. England. So I want you on my podcast. But we had a long day of shooting. What was your favorite look today?
Oh, I think that like Sahara sunset, the glittery one.
Oh yeah.
That was the tan background and lighting.
It was everything.
I think for me, it was mostly that I came into it of like, I don't have any experience modeling. I don't have any experience in pageantry. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm usually the one behind the camera, not in front of the camera. And I've seen it all. Like I've seen other people do it, but I haven't done it myself. So I wasn't timid or insecure, but I was just more like, how do I pose? Where do I put my arms? Like, okay, I'm just going to figure this out. And then at the end, I was just flowing with it.
I don't believe you because you were a pro today. Like the energy, the attitude.
All the magazine stalking paid off.
Oh, yeah, for sure. But when you walked in, you were like, so quiet. You're like, these are my colors. I can only wear these. And like the energy shifted as soon as you experienced like what the Code Creatives can provide. You're like, okay.
Yeah. You transformed me. And that allowed me to like tap into this little version of Amanda I didn't know was existing.
Love her. She's such a diva in the best way.
Yeah. Like transforming into any look. Like I could pull off everything that you guys threw at me. I was like, okay, let's do it.
I love it. Do you feel empowered?
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I mean, that was the whole reason why I came here, and the pageant journey that I'm on is to empower others, because a lot of times we go through life and have all these experiences that happen to us, and then we get to a point where we're feeling a little lost or just like more mundane, and we kind of have this realization of it was meant for more. And sometimes it takes healing some of those traumas that you go through, and then you step into the spotlight and realize, holy crap, like I can actually do this. And it gives you that sense of confidence. Like you can be confident already, but it breaks through that barrier and allows you to step into a higher version of yourself. So
I love that. And you're really living that right now. So before we go into like your background, I love what you just said. You're meant for more. You should trademark that with your last name.
Meant for more. MAWER.
That's brilliant.
I love it.
Okay, so while we were in Glam, you were telling me about some past trauma that you had and how that inspired your platform.
Yes.
So let's go ahead and dive into that first.
Of course. So one of the reasons when I moved to Miami that I got called to support the company or the organization that I'm supporting is the lifestyle can be a little bit more subjected to abuse and people taking advantage of more naive or immature women, or just not immature in the sense of being young, but not understanding street smarts and not being aware of your surroundings, and men on the prowl.
They're literally predators down here. Yeah. It's really scary.
And it is like really prevalent in all of America. I think America is one of the worst in the entire world for sex trafficking, and they're looking for, especially in the modeling, swimwear, pageantry, maybe not pageantry, but I was just not exposed to that where I came from. It was more family oriented.
Where are you from?
Tampa.
Okay.
So still from Florida. Yeah. So Miami's a different vibe. I had an experience in college, and not with sex trafficking, but just being sexually abused. And that led me to kind of shutting down a little bit and kind of going into myself, right? Is I've had a lot of shame and embarrassment with, oh, I'm the reason this happened, or it was my fault, or like I did something to provoke it. Like it happened to me because of what I've done, not because of the person. And I carried that for years, and I didn't talk about it to anybody. And moving to Miami, I experienced a few things that almost like brought that back up to the surface. I think the tipping point for me was there was a big story on South Beach behind a really prevalent hotel, the one hotel. It's like really famous and it's expensive. And there was a girl on skates who got attacked, not on the hotel's property, but literally like
On the
right
boardwalk?
outside on the boardwalk.
Oh my gosh.
She was choked, strangled, pulled into the bushes. And the scary part about it is not only was it happening in an area where you think is really secure, because they have security and cameras and everything. This is a one hotel. Like it's a super expensive resort. But for me, it was like, it gives me goosebumps every time I think about it. It's the exact same time and the exact same spot that I walked my dogs every night. And like, that could have been me because I'm so little. And I know the dogs might be a little bit of a deterrent, but I think that hit, like, with all the other things, it kind of snowballed. And that was the tipping point of like, people need to know about this. Like, so many women go through life and it sucks to say, but a lot of them have experienced sexual abuse at some point in their life, and they can relate to this kind of concept of having your innocence stolen from you. And so I was connected with an organization for sex trafficking, and that was like something I was a bit naive to, honestly. I mean, people don't talk about it. It's very emotional, and especially me being an empath, I was almost like, I don't want to know because it'll upset me too much. And I feel like, what can I possibly do? So this organization uses ex-special forces military. And a lot of them have PTSD when they come out of the military because of special forces. I mean, they do stuff we don't even know about. And so they come out of the military and are feeling lost themselves and are going through their own issues. And they're the ones doing the raid and rescues for these girls.
That's amazing.
So it's like helping both. And then there's a lot of, so there's a lot of legislation around that because the scary part is this critical issue is on a really high level. A lot of government and political figures, it's deep-seated. The deepest pockets in the world are usually the ones involved. So trying to change it and stop it takes a lot of money. And so that's what this charity is doing, is they're raising money to stop it at the source and get the guys, because you can rescue the girls, but unfortunately more girls will be in their place. So it's stopping the guys from doing it. And that's like where it takes crucial. A lot of money and power, and you have to know the people higher up, and that takes money. And so it's just,
it's an endless cycle, but I think it's incredible what you're doing. What is the organization called?
Love Inspiring Life.
I love that.
Yeah, and they're thinking about rebranding to, I know their Instagram is Guarding Innocence, and they're thinking about changing instead of Love Inspiring Life, because it's a lot of military and kind of bikers. It's a little bit more of a rough and tough, like, pro-guns crowd. So Love Inspiring Life doesn't mean that much to them. It's more feminine. So having something that's like guarding the innocence or protecting, like where a man can feel really masculine and like go in and protect a little girl's innocence. So they're thinking about rebranding a little bit, and I'm like right in that transition with them. So
I love that.
It's cool to be going through it all with them.
And you're doing so much, because even just here being on this podcast right now and talking about it, that's bringing so much awareness. And now our audience knows about the organization. And not only that, but as Mrs. Maryland, Mrs. England, Mrs. England, you're doing so much. So is this part of the reason why you chose pageantry, or what led you to picking up the title of Mrs. England?
So the pageantry would allow me to spread that awareness more, because you have to be more prevalent on Instagram, and you have to bring awareness to the pageant, and you have to be making impact in your community. So I was like, well, if I'm going to be making impact in my community, I might as well impact it in this way. So I'm doing events. All the tickets that we sell, part of them go to proceeds. I did a big thing this year was vision board parties. So I did a vision board party in January, and 100% of the proceeds went to the charity. So we're constantly doing as much as we can to spread awareness and raise funds. And in June, I think it's June 21st, we're doing a big charity gala.
Ooh.
So silent auction and getting a lot
Wow.
of vendors to come and donate items and everything, the tickets, the items, it's all going to the charity.
Wow, that's incredible. And what is your role in planning the whole thing? Are you hosting?
A lot of logistics,
Yeah.
kind of hosting, but it's more so I'm a big connector. That's like how I empower others. Is I think that there's a lot of power in being feminine, and femininity fosters connection.
Yes.
So being vulnerable and open and sharing and supportive and loyal. So I'm able to connect. Oh, you need to meet this person. You need to meet this person. And oh, we got to get this vendor. And like,
love it.
I'm like the connector, the little busy bee. So like, that's kind of my role. And I have so many people in my network that I can bring to the event. So that's how I'm trying to help. So the spreading awareness part is what I'm good at.
And this is your first pageant. This is probably one of your first photo shoots, right? So
my first photo shoot. Yeah.
What is it like diving into the world of pageantry in the Mrs. Division? Like, what is that like for you?
So my mind was open to so many different things. I think coming into it, I was so scared that the girls were going to be really catty or like vindictive. I thought it was a beauty contest. Like I had to be the prettiest person. I had to be a professional model, swimsuit, bikini, all that stuff. Fitness.
Well, you are.
Well, that's not my background. And I've never done any of that. I'm blessed genetically.
Yes, you are.
And then I thought if it wasn't any of that, then it was a popularity contest. So the person who had the biggest social media or had the biggest email list or whoever got the most votes. And none of that was true. It's a sisterhood, and it's based on substance and the impact that you're making in your values. So the Miss is a little bit different because you are married. So what I'm finding is a lot of the women, we have really similar values. With our focus is on our family, our kids, our business, and our faith. And that brings so much power to the pageant and how we can impact our community and how that affects our platform. And when you all have the same values, that's what creates that sisterhood effect.
I love that. And I'm so happy you said sisterhood, because everybody is intimidated. In the outside world, they're like, oh, pageants, it's a beauty contest. It's so catty. And it's literally the opposite, right? It's like the most empowering experience that you can ever have in your life. Like for me, it changed my life competing, and there's no cattiness at all. Like you truly build a sisterhood, and you're going to meet you're already married, but we meet our bridesmaids and like our lifelong friends in pageantry. I can see that. Yeah.
And I guess because you guys are doing such girly things, you're just bonding over girly things. Even if it's not like husbands and kids and, things like that. It's more like, oh my God, your dress and oh, your shoes. And like that instantly so my dad, he always makes fun of me in high school. He said that it was either dopamine or, there's not serotonin, another like really feel good
like endorphin
that is released when girls go to the bathroom together and you're like talking in front of the mirror.
Oh, so it's a real thing.
It is a real thing.
Oh my gosh.
And so he would make fun of me because he would always, whenever I was like, oh, I need to go to the bathroom, I was with my girlfriends, he'd be like, are you going to the bathroom to get high? And I was like, yes, Dad, very high.
On endorphins.
Yeah. So that was like a thing. So I could see pageantry, like that's how you meet your best friends. Is it just like an endorphin high?
No, literally. So walk me through your pageant prep. Are you working with a coach? What are you thinking for your gown? How's everything going so far?
Yeah. So I have a few coaches and mentors that are just invaluable. Like without them, I wouldn't be where I'm at today.
Shout out to Cindy.
To Cindy, of
Christie,
course, and Alyssa DeTore. And then, of course, the person who got me into this was Sandy Glant. She was Miss International 2022.
Wow.
So without her even exposing me, I would have never even met Alyssa or Cindy. I mean, I probably would have, but not in the same capacity because that's how we bonded is over the pageants. So everything kind of grows and develops once you get in there. Interview, I thought I had my dress. It had a more simple kind of like fitted look like this with some bubbly sleeves. Cute. And then I did my color analysis, and pink isn't really my palette because I'm warm or soft autumn. So it's more earthy colors. And I was like, okay, well, I don't have an interview dress. So I'm like, okay, I got to figure that out. And then my opening number, I'm not quite sure the direction, if I want to be more like standing out or if I want to be more complimentary and like the less is more. For my evening gown, I definitely want like a couture white dress with like sheer cape or something,
They
like an
say winners wear
overskirt.
white, so you have to wear
Yes,
white.
that's
Oh
what I
my
was telling
gosh.
Joey. Is I need white and then like dripping and beads and pearls
Ooh,
and lace and
yes.
like all the like the pretty things. So it's like sexy, feminine. I just don't want plain, simple, or like sweet
No.
16 ball gown. That's not really
No.
my
When
style.
you're picking out your gown, you have to keep in mind that you're going to be crowned in that gown,
Yeah.
So you have to be like, do I see myself being crowned in this gown? And
Mm-hmm.
then kind of go from there.
I'm like inspired by the actual crown itself. And I'm
Oh,
like, I want my dress to match my crown.
love that.
Right?
Oh my
Not like
gosh.
rhinestones, of course,
Yeah.
but like how crowns are so like delicate and feminine and
Yeah,
beautiful.
complimenting it. And the
Mm-hmm.
sash for the international winner, is it also purple?
Yeah, so it's white with the purple borders and it has rhinestones right next to it.
Oh,
It's like
perfect.
my favorite. I've looked at all the sashes and I could be biased, but it's one of my favorite sashes.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so I have to ask because a lot of husbands get tired of their wives competing in pageants because it's a lot, right?
It is.
Is your husband being supportive of your journey, and how does he feel?
Yeah, so that was actually something really, really cool about us. My husband can 100% financially support me, and I wouldn't need sponsors or anybody, and I could just essentially get there based purely on him.
Mm-hmm.
But we decided to do it on my capabilities and what I can bring to the table. So I'm doing this 100% without one penny from my husband.
Oh my
All the
gosh.
sponsors I'm getting on my own, and I am just able to make so much more impact on myself.
Yeah, you're
because
truly
I'm
challenging yourself.
Yeah, because I'm thinking, yes, my husband's successful, but I don't need to rely on that. I don't need to depend on that. Like this is me and what I bring to the table, and this is based on my connections and my value and the conversations that I have with my connections.
Wow.
So it's just giving me that next level empowerment as well for myself.
I was just gonna say that that's super empowering, right? And it shows that you
Yeah.
can still be independent even though you're married.
Yes.
How does it feel to be so empowered?
Yeah, it makes me think I definitely need to share my story, and I need to show other women that if I can do it, and I've had this like crazy background, I have a great face, like a front, but if you understood everything underneath the skin, you'd be like, holy crap, how is she like not in jail or on drugs or doing something crazy? Because of all her experience, that's what most people would end up, right? Is they would end up in a bad place. So if you're like, here I am after everything I've been through, if I can do it, you can do it too.
Is there anything you're comfortable sharing about your background?
Yeah, bits and pieces. So like I had a really bad relationship with both my biological dad and my stepdad, and that left me with those like daddy issues kind of like I was really hurt by my biological dad, and my stepdad, I thought he was really mean. He was super military. Like now he's my best friend. We're close. I'm almost closer to my stepdad than I am to my mom. And he's not my stepdad. I'm just saying that for the context.
Yeah.
But he's my dad. We had a beautiful moment at the wedding and everything. Like it was just, we're so much different than how I grew up. But I was so traumatized with not really having a dad.
Wow.
Is how I felt, because we just did not get along. I did not accept him as like my real dad, but my real dad was like a POS and like put us through some stuff. Like a little bit that I could share is he was super I was in a very abusive home, not my brother and I, but my mom and my dad.
Wow.
And I just found out this last Christmas that there was a time where my dad almost killed my brother, almost killed my mom, and threatened to kill my brother another time. Like it was so bad, like the violence that I witnessed from a young age and kind of grew up in that. And then with my dad being so strict, like my stepdad being so strict, I just came from a lot of hurt and like I needed a guy's attention. So that carried into my life. And that's also what carried into abusive relationships. I dated a guy when I was 19. He was 29. Very controlling, manipulative, abusive, would say things like, your own dad didn't love you. How do you expect anyone else to? He cut me off from everybody. Not only did it, at the time, Facebook was really big, like right after MySpace. Not only did I have to delete all of my Facebook friends, but I had to then delete my Facebook. So like before I deleted my Facebook, because I think you could have reactivated it or something like that, he's like, you have to take all of your friends off as well. He also broke my phone. And back then, there was no iCloud or anything. So like I lost all of my contacts. I lost everybody. And I had just graduated.
Oh
So
my
like I
God.
was completely cut off from everyone that I knew my whole life. From cheering, all the sports that I did, everything. And I only had my parents. My parents did not approve of him. So I couldn't talk to my parents. So I was shut off from my parents. And of course the things that he was saying to me. So I was like so in, like I felt like alone.
Isolated, yeah.
And then after I was like, cops were involved. Like it was a whole thing. He tried to kidnap me once. It was really bad.
Oh my
And
God.
then of course after that is when I had the sexual abuse. And then I got into another toxic relationship, and it just like it all compounds. And then thank God I met my husband, because I don't know what I could have ended up being.
Oh
like
my
it's just
gosh. No, I'm
it's
so
crazy.
grateful, and I feel like he treats you like a queen, clearly.
Yeah,
So.
like I'm realizing what I'm actually capable of,
and what
this
you're
has
worthy
been,
of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been a long time coming.
Wow.
And he even said when he met me, like I've always carried myself to a certain standard, so you would just never know. And I've never opened up about my past. I mean, my closest friends know, but even Rudy probably doesn't know. He doesn't know about my sexual abuse. Like he does, but he doesn't. Like he knows something happened, but I think the only person who knows details is Cindy.
Oh my gosh.
So,
and don't feel like, pressure to talk about it, like here or in the pageant or anything like that. I feel like that's something that you handle when you're ready to talk about it. And
I'm just here to spread awareness of like, hey, this happens a lot more often than women think.
It truly does.
And it's okay. We don't necessarily have to relive those moments, but it's a way to connect with other women and we can grow together.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I love that you're doing this. You're so brave for talking about everything and
trying to embrace that femininity of being vulnerable.
Absolutely. So what are some other things that you're doing in your career maybe or in the past to empower women, because that is such a big message, I feel like, in your life, but also today has just been all about empowerment?
Yes. So my business, it was originally like confidence coaching. But I'm thinking instead of doing that, like I really need to build foundations first. So just putting together more events and bringing together experts in their own field to allow women to feel empowered. So back when I wasn't feeling the way that I feel now, I could have really used a lot of mentors in different areas. So having someone who helps with your faith, because I kind of lost touch with that. Like, how could all this happen? Like, how could God exist if all this was happening to me? Like, so I battled a long time with church and religion and like, do I really believe? Because why would he allow this to happen? So having someone strong on that pillar, I think also either a relationship coach or even a trauma coach or a trauma expert, someone who does, I think it's called somatic healing. Having beauty experts like a makeup artist or someone who can teach how to do your hair, posing, etiquette, all the feminine things, because that's what over time I learned on my own. I'm not an expert in any of those areas, but I've learned how to do my own hair and makeup. I've learned how to walk in heels. I've done all the etiquette, like reels and TikToks and YouTube videos, and I'm wanting to take classes and like how to be graceful. And I still have so much to learn because I haven't done a lot in person. It's all just been on video. So having a lot of those experts come together and doing like a little workshop and then having it like a cute theme, like a feminine theme. So you can come and you can talk to other girlfriends and network, but then you can get some services that you're needing, and it's still kind of like private. Like you can go off with that coach and do that one thing, or go over here. You don't have to do it in a group setting. So it's just bringing everything together.
Yeah, you're such a connector, and I love that.
So that's where I'm like is shifting to, is doing more like feminine empowered events.
I love that. That's like right up my alley. I'm actually so happy that we're connected now through Cindy, because like I feel like me, you, and Cindy were like all about
oh my goodness
all of this stuff.
It's like the same thing but different.
No, exactly. So we just need to make like one big event, we just empower
that would
everybody.
be so amazing.
It would be incredible. So where do you see yourself in the long run, like 5 years from now after winning Mrs. International?
Yes, I mean that's only 1 year, but we're definitely wanting to start trying for kids this year. Okay. So definitely a mom. I mean, that's like hands down, I have to be a mom. And then I see myself just being a much bigger like person, in the sense of being on stage, writing a book, having my own podcast and YouTube, like doing all the things. But even being like on TV and maybe even doing a reality show with my husband, because he's kind of like on TV and stuff now, and he does his own TV shows of the More Life or so, you know, like how they have like
there's more to life.
Yeah, exactly.
Something like
and
that.
then like following us around like on our day-to-day, like I see in 5 years like something like that. We're doing big things, like big in real estate. And then with my events, I'm ideally wanting to have 300, 500. I mean, a dream would be having 1,000 women, you know, at a big conference or something. That is what I'm hosting, and
that's incredible.
Somehow combining that with what my husband does. I'm still like figuring that out of like, how do we join it? Because what he does is totally separate. It's more business, it's more masculine. So right now I'm just doing this, and then we'll come together as it forms.
Yeah, exactly. Kind of just go where God takes you, right?
Exactly.
And see where you end up. And it's always the best place. Is there anything else you want to share with our audience before we wrap it up?
I don't think so. I'm sure like as soon as this is over, I'm going to be like, oh, I wish I would have said this. But as of right now, I'm kind of like, I feel like I shared so much.
You did.
I'm like,
yes. No,
okay,
it was
I just
incredible.
need to take a breather.
Of course. So we're going to move into something fun. We're going to do a this or that segment. So you can just answer with one word, or you can elaborate if you want to, and it'll just let us get to know you a little bit better.
Okay.
So you haven't competed yet, but are you more excited for onstage question or interview?
Ooh, I think interview, because it allows me to expand more on that topic and really connect with the judges and the directors.
Yeah, on a personal level.
On stage, I feel like it's a bit more maybe rehearsed and
nerves.
It's just like in front of the camera and like on screen, but that might not be who you really are.
Yeah.
I feel like interview, you can shine.
I agree. They say you win an interview.
Okay, well, there we go. Yeah. I'm going to focus on interview.
Early mornings or late nights?
Ooh. Can I be in the middle? I'm not really a morning person.
And you're not a late night person.
Yeah.
You just like to sleep. Same. Literally same.
I could sleep at like 8, 9. So it's like semi kind of early, but not like 5 a.m.
Yeah.
But if I go to bed past 11, I'm like,
oh my gosh, yeah.
Then I'm like sleeping in until 10. And then
it's a cycle.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Anytime I go to bed at 11, I sleep in until like 9. And then the next day, go to bed at midnight, and then I sleep in until 10. And next thing you know, it's like 3 a.m. And I'm like, I need to go to bed.
I've been through that cycle before, and it's like so hard to break out of it. I have to like travel internationally to be in a different time zone, and it resets me.
Well, I think what it is mostly is because my husband's been going back and forth to LA so much. Like he's over in LA more than he's here in Miami.
Oh my gosh.
And because it's a 3-hour time zone difference, he's like, oh, I'm still filming. And it'll be like 9 o'clock his time, but it'll be midnight my time. So I'm staying up because he doesn't get back from filming until sometimes 10 or 11 at night his time. And of course I want to say goodnight to him, talk to my husband, so I'm like up, and the next thing I'm like,
oh my gosh,
it's ruining my sleep schedule.
Right, you have to go to LA.
Yeah, exactly. I just move over there.
Coffee or tea?
Coffee, 100%.
City life or small town?
City life.
Wait, I have to ask you now, LA or Miami? Obviously Miami, because you're here.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, LA is just different.
Yeah. Curling iron or straightener?
Curling iron.
TikTok or Instagram?
Instagram.
Gown or cocktail dress?
Gown. Couture gown.
Couture gown. A Joey Rolon signature gown. That's what we want.
Yes.
Road trip or flying?
Ooh. It depends on where you're doing the road trip. Definitely flying, but
and like who you're with.
Yeah.
I love that you thought about it, because all my pageant divas are like, flying, we don't have time for a road trip, but like a good road trip.
So I used to be nomad.
Amazing. What?
So I would travel like we for like almost 2 years. We lived out of a suitcase essentially and traveled. I mean, granted, it was all on planes, but in Europe you take a lot of trains.
Yeah.
So it's kind of
like a road trip minus the driving.
Yeah, because it's so small, so you could be in a different country so quickly. So we didn't take as many flights, because the time going to the airport is just annoying, and like the train would be faster, and we would just do like first class. We could work the whole time, and it was just so much easier. So
wait, this is my favorite answer. So it's not road trip or flying, it's trains in Europe.
Yeah, trains in Europe.
That's so cute. Summer or winter?
Summer.
Reality TV or true crime documentaries?
Oh, That's a hard one. I really don't know. Reality TV is like my period bestie.
Yeah.
But true crime,
So it
I get
depends on where you are in
sucked
your
into.
cycle.
Honestly, yeah, exactly.
That's so funny. That's very feminine.
Yeah, cyclical.
Yes. Okay, last one. Sparkles or solids?
Sparkles.
Yeah, she's a pageant girl.
Yeah, always.
Oh my god, I love it. So where can our audience follow you on your journey to Mrs. International?
Yeah, so Amanda Moore. Well, Amanda_Moore on Instagram.
And
That's
spell
like,
more for us because it's a little
okay,
different.
Mawer. So the American version is Mawer, but the English posh version is Moore, like more money. You know?
I love it. I love how you say that. Well, thank you so much for joining us. I can't wait to follow your journey.
Yay. I'm excited to be on this journey.